Blog Talk Radio tuning in, and everybody that's on Facebook getting ready to tune in. We have Paul Shields on mute right now, but he's also on StreamYard, and I will be introducing him in a second. But a couple of reminders. First, the Cabin on 360, their event that was going to occur on August the 20th is sold out. So, saw that yesterday. There's no more tickets. They're having another event in September. Next week on our show, John Stevens. I can't believe it's already the third Tuesday of every month, but John Stevens will be on our show, and we will be talking about paranormal events. So for now, if y'all want to go out and check Virginia Paranormal Events, his page for everything that's going on, please feel free to do that. So I'm not going to keep Paul Shields holding because we only have an hour. So let's see. I got my co-host on here, David Flowers, too. How are you?
Hey, everybody.
I'm sure that we are public. I checked it. I have to multitask with this thing because it'll say friends, even though I set it to public every time I do it, and it goes back to friends for whatever stupid reason. So I have to fix StreamYard manually every time I go on my show, which is ridiculous, to be honest with you. So I believe we are public. Yes, we are. How are you, Paul Shields?
I'm pretty good. You can hear me, right?
Yep, I can hear you. No, I don't think there's any echo, but I'm sure Ronnie would let us know if there is. Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie.
Do you have an echo?
Yeah, I wonder if it's because I called in. You need to mute your computer and just talk through the phone.
Hi, Vanessa.
I don't have I'm not even on my computer. I'm just using the phone right now.
Hello. How are you? It's not that bad of an echo, though. Would it? For the audience, is as long as they don't hear an echo, I'm good.
Okay. Oh no, everybody's echoing.
Yeah. See, I'm not even hearing your echo at all.
Yeah, I'm not either. What if I just turn the other? The number I called in on. Maybe I should just turn that off because I can hear two volumes. I can hear the volume from this feed. I can hear the volume from the phone number I called in.
Yeah, but if you're not going to hang up on Blog Talk, are you? Because if you do that, then we won't hear you at all. Like, we'll get you on StreamYard, but we won't have you on Blog Talk, the actual radio.
Okay, because I'm on. You know what? Maybe I can try plugging in these headphones and see if that.
Yeah, because everybody's saying there's no echo. Hello, Kimberly. Hi, Lucy. Hello, Ronnie. How are y'all doing tonight?
Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Lucy.
Did I say Vanessa? I hope I did. Vanessa. She's so cute. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No echo, but Culpeper is a little. What? Don't use big words with me, Kimberly. Thank you. I can't see it. I don't have my glasses on. Really? Why you got to do that shit? It has to use these bigger words with me that, my brain can't wrap around. All right. So I got your bio here. So you're an investigator and a technician for Culpeper Paranormal, right?
Yes.
Where's Culpeper located? Because I got people all over that may not know where Culpeper is. It's a beautiful place, but where is it?
Right. Okay. Culpeper is basically about 45 minutes east of Fredericksburg and about 65 miles southwest of Washington, D.C. And it's about 50 miles north of Charleston.
Okay, so it's not too terribly bad. I've been out there once. I got lost.
Find your way back home?
I did. I ended up taking the scenic route to Indiana, and Culpeper was one of those pass-through towns, and I was like, oh, how pretty. But when I was a probation officer, we had I had a district out in Culpeper that I would talk another probation officer out in Culpeper all the time. So it was really cool. We had a district out there. I think it was District 5 probation, but Haven't quite made my way out. Now you've dimmed, your voice is dimmed out a little bit.
Has it?
Yeah. Once you put those in, it like made it lower. So now I'm like having to.
Oh, is it still low?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're fired.
Is it louder? Yeah, when you put the mic right up to your mouth, it was a little bit louder. And I'm like,
there we go. What'd you just do? Say something?
Okay, can you hear it?
Yeah. At first she was like really, really low and I could barely hear them.
Okay, because I had the earbuds in, so I'm still getting an echo, but whatever, I'll deal with it.
But I don't think anybody's get over to the mic, Paul. Just don't swallow it.
Hey, Paul, do you have Facebook and StreamYard both up? Facebook what? Do you have Facebook and StreamYard both up? I don't know. There's 2 volumes because I have the call-in one, and then I'm getting like 2 volumes from the studio, the StreamYard. So I'm thinking because I was having that problem because I've got Facebook up and I've got StreamYard up. So I muted Facebook, so I just have StreamYard up, and that's the only one I can hear now. So I was having an echo problem. Okay, yeah, because all I have on is the StreamYard I can see on the phone, and then the number that I called in on.
I mean, he sounds good on this end. I mean, see, to me, he sounds fine. I don't hear an echo. You don't hear an echo, and the audience don't hear an echo.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I think people can hear you loud and clear now.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I can deal with it. If it's clear, then that's good.
That works for me. Can you deal with a little echo?
I think so, as long as I can hear the questions and talk,
Okay. Well, our show mainly is as you know, we don't choreograph it or just straight. So I read in your bio where you've been investigating for the last 7 years and that you've been over like to 100 different places and that you're a board member for the Brandy Station. Can you talk a little bit about that and some of your experiences investigating and, how your team came about and.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my team is Culpeper Paranormal. Our founder is Kimberly Willard. She's the founder of the group. Okay. And basically, to make a long story short, my daughter was taking guitar lessons from her. And, I've always kind of been into the shows and kind of the paranormal and stuff. And so we were just talking one day after, the guitar lesson. And she was like, I don't know how we got on the conversation with paranormal, maybe one of the shows that they presented or something. And she was like, hey, I used to be in a group in Manassas and, trying to put together a team in Culpeper. And I'm like, oh, really? She's like, you want to investigate? I'm like, I don't know, it kind of freaked me out, but, just caught me off guard. So I was like, well, sure. So she put something together, this nice place down in Madison. And we did it like on Thanksgiving weekend back in 2014 or something. And, that's how it all started. Investigating.
That's really cool. So you've been over to over 100 places. I mean, gosh, that's a lot of places. Like,
yeah, but I mean, we've been probably to I would say probably about 60 like good places. I count other places like cemeteries and private homes and things like that, kind of in there. But yeah, we've done well over 100 investigations.
Wow. And y'all do the private investigations as well. So if somebody in that area needs you.
We do. The only there's a liability, so it depends on the situation. It's case by case basis, but we have done them. It just depends, what the situation is. Yeah, we want to help everybody. Again, we don't take any money or them. And then, if we feel like it's a good thing to do and it's going to help them, then we do it. But it is a case by case basis. But we will do them, but we like to do historical homes most.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
But that's good to know that if people, if anybody contacts us, we know where to plug them into in your area too, if need be.
Right.
So that's a good thing to be able to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of the places we do around Culpeper area, some of those we've done around this area. And then, and I'm also on the Green Station Foundation board.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, our founder of our group, she was on the board as well. She's not on the board anymore. But we do, help the Green Station battlefield and the Graffiti House, which is in Green Station. It was a Civil War hospital. And we do a lot of stuff, donations, we have paranormal groups come in and things like that. And, we've investigated there a whole bunch of times. Very cool place. If anybody ever wants to come, give us a call.
What's the history of that?
So the history of the Graffiti House goes back to 1858. Across the Graffiti House sits on Route 29. And Culpeper, Brandy Station, matter of fact, which is right outside, the town of Culpeper. And the landowner at that time, when the city, I don't know if it was a plantation or what it was, but his last name was Barber. And he sold a parcel of 3 acres across 29 to a guy named John Stone. And he took about 3 years to build the Graffiti House. And then when he was done, pretty much right when he was done is when, the Battle of Bull Run started, and the Civil War started in 1861. It took him about 3 years to complete the house. And then, within, when the Civil War started, they were using, the train tracks right beside it. That would go all the way down to Gordonsville. So, the Graffiti House was right on track. So, getting soldiers down to Gordonsville and, getting the medical help and stuff, they stopped at the Graffiti House. And then, of course, the Battle of the Station, which happened in June 9th, 1863, that was the field hospital for that battle. The biggest cavalry battle in the Civil War.
I've heard of the Graffiti House. I think one of my friends went there. I've never been there.
It's a cool area. I mean, I know you said you got lost in Culpeper, but there's so much history here. It's probably the most fought-over county than any county in the Civil War. It changed hands so many times. And then you have the winter encampment for the Union winter encampment in 1863, 1864, right before Grant's overland encampment. So, when Grant came to D.C. after his Western victory, in Pittsburgh and stuff, and Lincoln brought it over, Grant went to Washington. His next stop was Brandy Station, gathered 110,000 troops, and marched over the Rapidan River to the wilderness, which is about 25 minutes away in Orange County, right on Route 3.
Yeah. That's cool. I've never heard of it, but and that's y'all's place that you investigate and do things at too, then, right? Or is it just the
it's just what
Brandy Station, or is it both of those places?
What do you mean?
Is the Brandy Station different from the Graffiti House? Is it two different?
No, the Graffiti House is in Brandy Station.
Okay, I got you. I was getting confused, but that's just me.
Right. No, it's fine. I know, in the area, I probably do a little better explaining it, but Brandy Station is, and that's where I live. So I live about 3 miles from the Graffiti House.
I got you.
The Graffiti House is pretty much in the heart of Brandy Station. Because the Brandy Station is very small. I mean, it's a train track, and the old Fleetwood Church is right next to, kind of right next to the Graffiti House. Then you have the Graffiti House, and you have all their old buildings. And, you're about 2 minutes from the town.
I got you. All right, we got a couple people on. Hey, Lori. Hey, Shayla. Ronnie says you are beginning to echo really bad again. The sound is running together, and it's hard to understand you.
Yeah, I'm echoing.
Yeah, so I don't know how to fix it.
Can I try? Well, let me try disconnecting from that number, and I can talk to you through the StreamYard. Will that work?
You can talk to us through StreamYard. You can that might. I mean, go ahead and try to disconnect from that. That might work. but you're hanging up on Blog Talk. So I don't know if Blog Talk will, I don't know how that works. We'll just have to wait and see. Go ahead and disconnect and see what happens. I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me.
I can hear you now.
And there's no echo.
And there's no echo. But your call is dropped off of StreamYard, so we should still be able to hear them on Blog Talk, right, David?
Or can nobody see me?
Still hear him.
Okay, much better. All right, that works. Trying to get all between StreamYard and Blog Talk and Facebook and everything else gets confusing and messed up.
I didn't.
We go through this every fucking week. Excuse my language.
Oh no! I fucking say fuck all the time, so it's fucking okay.
Yeah. That really should be my safety word. I mean,
right.
For real.
Yeah. So are we still live though?
Yes, we are live.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just make sure.
Used to be saying that word, so you know.
Right. Okay, but the echo is gone, and the echo was coming from being on that the number that I called in. So hopefully that fixed everything. Hopefully everything's okay and people can see and hear us.
Yeah, I'll run back through Blog Talk later, like on the actual Blog Talk site. But with him and I on calling into the studio and me having you on speaker through the computer, it should work.
Okay.
So, yeah, 100% better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it says 1,000% better.
Yeah, well, 1,000.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, I mean, as long as and my volume's okay, you can hear me okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Can you turn yours up just a little bit?
I think I'm all the way up, actually. Yeah, I'm all the way up. Okay,
well, that should be okay. Y'all can hear them 100% better, so we're good.
Yeah, let me turn this fan off real quick. So I know all right, because the fan makes a little bit of noise too. So
yeah.
All right. So okay, this is better because it's really hard to talk when everything's echoing.
Kim from Culpeper Paranormal is here. Get it together, Paul.
Yep. Kim is she's the glue to our group. So, but
how many people
yeah,
are in your group? And sometimes it's hard for me to bring everybody from a group, so I hope nobody feels left out because that wasn't the intentions. It's just that I found when I've tried to bring a bunch of people on, it echoes. It just messes up and it makes me paranoid, nervous when I'm doing my show, when I've got so many people on and everybody's trying to fix something and maybe one person is fine, the next person isn't. It's so I just, so I hope that that's okay that you represent Culpeper Paranormal because I don't know any of your other team members and I know you.
No. Oh yeah, no, exactly. It's fine, and I explained
Mr. Paradelia, I know you.
Paradelia, exactly. Orbs.
Yes. I try to tag you in everything.
It's funny. Oh, I love it. Yeah, the sarcasm. I mean, and the funny thing about it is I got your sarcasm right off the bat, and I knew you were trying to explain it. We're like, hey, and it's like I knew it was funny, and I love that exchange. And I was showing my wife, and I was like, "This is hilarious," because like I'll comment on some of this, and I'm not trying to be mean, I mean, look, I know Dave caught an orb, down in the base. I've had an orb, they do exist. It's just an inside joke between Geri and I, and it's just kind of funny. Go back and forth.
You can't help it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I do you remember the one that I tagged you in with the lady that's on TikTok that had all these orbs flying around her living room and people were like dumb enough to believe it? The dust bunnies. And then she got offended because people were telling her that it was pareidolia, and she's like, don't say that these are not real when they are. And people were like, oh, I can't believe they're being so mean. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they're so dumb.
Exactly. I mean, look, there are things. I'll turn this light a little bit. Obviously there are orbs and dust, things that happen, but the smaller the lens on a camera, right? And then you have, it's just like if you hit a cushion in the daylight, and the sun's coming in through the blinds, and you hit a cushion, you can see all the dust and everything coming up, and you can see with your own eyes. And it's kind of like when you have a lens on your cell phone, or smaller the lens, the more you're going to see these dust particles. And and it happens that even with IR light, and even when you take pictures with a smartphone or cell phone camera, you're going to get these reflections reflecting off from the flash, reflecting off of light. You're going to get different colored ones. And I'm not saying, obviously there are orbs. There's some that there's no explanation for some of these things that are, you see them with your own eyes. I think that's the best way to to capture something. It's hard to capture it with your own eyes because you need something to record it with. Like a video camera would be the best. But sometimes like they come through. You can tell there's light flashing off of it. So it's, and doing this, I'm not a veteran. I'm not like David Flowers, doing it for a long time. But I'm doing it. But I've been doing it long enough, to where, using, DVR, and you guys know too, using DVR cameras, and you're watching hours and hours of footage, from investigations, and you walk out of a room and you see these things, I call them dust bunnies, but you see them start flying up and the IR lights catching them. And yeah, they look, when I first got it was funny because for our second investigation with Culpeper Paranormal, we were at the Gordonsville Exchange, and first time I ever used the DVR, and he set it up. And there's no audio on the DVR. We had like 4 cameras, no audio, but just the video. And then we got all these dust things coming up. It was in the middle of January, so they had heat on and stuff. And whenever the heat came on, these things would come up, and I was like, look at all these orbs. I was like, this is crazy. And I'm like, we're looking, and then I'm like, and then it's like, well, if it was paranormal, it wouldn't be like this all the time. It's, you catch on to it, but
yeah. David and I have pretty much pegged the orbs in the manor house. They,
right.
They fly a certain way. We just know. We don't even dispute it with each other anymore. We're like, oh, okay, we know that the flies and the bugs have a pattern there.
Right.
So, I gotta say hello to Yvonne, and Ronnie said Culpeper is a great group of people. Had a blast at St. Albums with them.
Yeah, Ronnie. Yeah, Ronnie and Shayla, great people. Love them. Middletown.
Yeah, Ronnie also said that he carries a can of Pledge for all the orbs that they see.
That's probably a good idea.
And then we have somebody under Facebook user that says it can be confusing for sure. What's up? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is because it's just showing up on mine as a Facebook user, so I don't know who they are. But I am going to acknowledge you.
Yeah, and I can't see anybody on Facebook. I don't have Facebook up. So I can't see anybody commenting. I should have brought up my laptop and looked at it to see who was commenting.
You're cool. If anybody we try to get the comments and acknowledge, the comment in the comment section of who comes on and who says what in our comments section. So
yeah.
So what is your take on all these fairy videos that people put up?
What do you mean, like catching actual fairies, like the fly, like the little things? I don't know. I don't know that much about them. I've seen a couple of things on like that what's that, Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to think about those. I haven't seen a lot of videos of those except for what I've seen on like some television shows, but I don't know how to comment on that. You can ask me about Bigfoot. I'm kidding.
I keep thinking they're dragonflies or mosquitoes.
Yes. Well, yeah. So great point. Sorry, David, you want to say something?
No, I just agreeing with you. Dragonflies, mosquitoes, something like that.
Right.
Because there's a lot more of them circulating on people's Ring cameras, and I'm like, that looks like a mosquito to me.
Right. Yeah, mosquito. Yeah, one of those. It's like, well, dragonflies have those 4 little wings, right? So it's like the fairy videos that I've seen. It looks similar to that in dragonflies. And people are gonna manipulate stuff too, obviously. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the fairy thing. Yeah. I'm leaning more towards pareidolia. No, I'm kidding. I'm leaning.
Well, since we're on the subject of pareidolia,
yeah,
can you please like break that down, because I have some people on here that are not ghost hunters. Right. They're interested in it, but they're not. And explain that if you don't mind, because you have a better take on pareidolia really than my brain wraps around.
Right. So I guess probably the short answer to pareidolia is kind of like your brain, like you want to, like when you look up in the clouds, for example, and you see your brain's automatically trying to find a face. And you can do it in carpet, like shag carpet, or you see faces and things. I mean, our brains are wired that way. It's like we automatically look to see a face, and I think that's what happens with this orb phenomenon. That you and I kind of joking about, on some of the sites, is that people are, they're taking their smartphones, taking a shot of an orb. I don't know how many. Well, it's dust, I'm assuming, but how far away, and they superimpose it really big, and then you're going to see all kinds of stuff in there. You might see a city. You might see. I mean, and I think that's the problem, because everything just starts pixelating. And I mean, I think that's the issue with. Excuse me. I think that's the issue with the pareidolia effect, and that's what's causing us to see things. And I'm not saying, because I think there are things that are there too. I'm not saying everything's pareidolia, with the orb things in the faces, I tend to, like 99% of it. That's just my opinion, but there's like, people are taking pictures like in a dark hallway, and then they put it through a filter and they brighten it up, and you see something shaped like a figure, and that's, that could still be pareidolia. It just, if you're zooming in on it, it just depends. I like video. Obviously video is going to be a lot more, you can, if you're shooting in, 30 frames a second, HD, you can stop and, stop frame by frame, and do a screenshot of it, and that's kind of better than a phone, I think. But I don't know. I think I think you have a smartphone, they have great cameras on them. You should take as many pictures as you can, and always take at least 3 pictures in one spot. That way, if there is like a pareidolia phenomenon, you might be able to, debunk it. So, but that's kind of my theory, I just think with the, with seeing faces and things, tree bark, carpet, clouds, that type of thing. And then, obviously taking pictures using, a camera that doesn't have IR on it, and shooting in dark light where everything's black, and then you're putting it through a filter, and then you're zooming in, and then you're getting all kinds of crazy things. And, there could be something there, but I think more time than not, 90% of the time it's pareidolia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna reiterate windows, because a lot of people send me pictures of windows.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scenes, they'll message me windows and say, "What do you see?" And I'm like, "It ain't what you think you see."
Right.
I try to be nice about it. And I've actually had a couple people defriend me recently because I didn't agree to what they said that it was. And I'm not going to lie to somebody. I had one recently do it when they sent me some footage of orbs, or an orb, and I wasn't about to tell them that was their child in that orb, because it was not.
Oh, they were claiming that?
And I'm not going to, it was clearly not an orb. It was
right.
A particle of some sort, like dust or something, but it wasn't. Right. I'm not going to agree with somebody to try to make them feel better.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And, you feel kind of bad. And that's a shame that they want to unfriend you or not talk to you because because it's just an opinion. It's your opinion. Like, look, this is what I think. And, I think some people are looking at it as, or us as professionals, and thinking that we want to tell them the truth. We want to comfort them and things like that. And so sometimes it's the hard truth. It's just like, look, I don't think it's anything, Yeah. But the whole, you brought up the window thing, the reflection, that's a huge point. Kim and I have taken a lot of, pictures of places, and she does way more than I do, because I always forget to take pictures. But there's reflections in windows all the time. And during the day is the worst, because you get trees outside the window, and you're reflecting, and then clouds too. So that's a huge pareidolia thing with the windows. They show those all the time. And I'm like, man, yes, it does look like a face. It does look like a face, but I don't know. I think that's just a reflection off the window. And unless you go to different angles, and take different pictures, because, as a paranormal investigator, it's kind of, those are kind of things you want to do. You want to be able to take, do different angles and take shots, because because I think the first and foremost thing we want to do as paranormal investigators is we want to like debunk. You know what I mean? We want to debunk what we see. And if we get enough, definitive evidence, using different camera angles, audio recorders, things like that, then we can say, oh, then it is paranormal. See what I'm saying? But I think debunking is the first thing that we want to do as investigators, in my opinion.
No, I mean, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That's the first thing we do with
And
stuff.
in this area here, with all the historic buildings, a
Right.
lot of them they're machine-made windows, but they're made to look like they're handmade. So there's waves in the window.
That's
And
exactly.
That will wreak havoc on a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, David. Yeah, because older windows have all those ripples and waves in them, and that's causes all kinds of crazy reflections, from different angles.
Yeah, that did.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's fooled me a couple times. I've been taking pictures of historic places, and you're thinking there's a face in there, and knowing now what I know now, I'm like, well, maybe that's not.
Right.
It's the windows and the way they were cut, particularly like where I work at the museum. There's,
Right.
I mean, that is an old building, and the way those windows are cut. At one point, I thought there was a couple faces in it, but it's not. Now I realize that it's not. I think I only have one clear cut picture, like in the town of Urbana, at one of our Ralph Wormley houses. It's an older house, but you see the blinds, but you see a girl behind the blind. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was very interesting.
But yeah, I'm not saying there isn't. There's obviously proof. I think like in the paranormal field, it's like if you're there for like 5 minutes and that so-called apparition is still in the window after 5 minutes, I don't think it's paranormal, because you know how fast these things.
Yeah, they move very fast. That day when I was taking a walk that particular morning out in town, the energy was off to the house.
Right.
And something didn't feel right.
Right.
That whole day was messed up. And then I took the picture, but that was also the same day I got bit. I had a bite mark show up on my arm. So it was a lot of things back to back that happened with that.
Oh, wow.
It was interesting.
Ron's saying it's mostly dirt around that's moved around by rain.
You mean like on the windows?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I said, people send historical pictures all the time, or they're posting historical pictures all the time, and they're like, look at these faces I caught, and I'm just like going, no.
I know. And yeah, and there's a popular paranormal site called Ghosts of London. I don't know if they're a group, but they get hundreds of likes every time they post pictures. And I follow them, and a lot of stuff on there. It's like, man, it's like, to me, it's kind of easy to debunk. But if you say anything on there about that, they'll ban you. It's just like,
been banned. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about ban. I've been banned from Facebook. I don't know how many times, but it hasn't happened in a while. So.
Yeah, I've been banned. 3 of my favorite people right here. Thank you, John Stevens. You'll be on next week.
We love John. Yeah, John was with us at St. Albans a couple of weeks ago as well.
Oh, I bet you that was fun.
It was fun. It was really fun. We're definitely going back next year. My mother-in-law who's part of our group, because she's always been really into the paranormal. She kind of got us into, like, let's do it. Let's do the investigation. When Kim got us the location, when we were trying to putting the group together, because basically the group it's me, my wife, my mother-in-law, and Kim's the founder of the group. So it's just us 4. So it's kind of like a family thing. My wife is like, and David's met my wife, and he came to the Manor House back in February. She kind of like, she just really doesn't want to do it anymore, but she watches all my videos, and she's like probably the most skeptic out of anybody, and then my mother-in-law is very into the history. She loves the history, and Dave actually met her as well. Her and my father-in-law came on a tour up to the Manor House, probably right around when you started there, Geri. I don't know if you were there when they came or not. I don't remember. She didn't say anything, but that was like the last week of February or something like that.
I wasn't there. I've been there for almost a year. Well, I've been there. I don't know what day it is exactly in August, but it's been about a year.
Oh, okay.
I hadn't like started until when? March.
Late March, early April.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So then yeah, because yeah, we went there. I didn't see you there when we went there, obviously,
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's pretty much just us four in our group, and then we do things with other people. I mean, we do at the graffiti house, we do some tours there once in a while. We do ghost tours in the town of Culpeper. We do for the town of Culpeper for tourism. They put on like 3 or 4 ghost tours a year, and we host those. We've investigated a bunch of little stores and places on Davis Street, which is the main street. There is a main street in Culpeper, but there's Davis Street, which is actually the main street with all the restaurants and stuff. Excuse me, very small. But we do a ghost tour and talk about that stuff there. And then, of course, I mentioned the graffiti house. We do public events there like once a year. And we do like a spirit night right before Halloween, kind of like open to the public. People can come in and we can talk about the investigations we did there and the evidence we got there. And then we do events. The Fauquier County Jail, what they call the Old Jail History Museum, Fauquier County. That place is really cool. It's probably one of the most haunted places we've investigated. We've been there a bunch of times as well. And we do events for them every year. We do, gosh, one year I think we did like 6 tours for them in one year. And we don't take any money or from any of these places. Everything donations, 100% of it goes to their foundations, for preservation and stuff. Avenel, historic Avenel down in Bedford County. We've done some couple events for them as well. And the Rising Sun Tavern in Fredericksburg. We've done George Washington's brother built that house. We've done some events for them too in November. But yeah, we're pretty active with that. And I think with us and with the historical part of the paranormal, it's a big thing with my mother-in-law, and that's what she's into, and she's very good with that. So we focus with that, but of course the paranormals, we try to get the answers. You know what I mean? Like who was there, and obviously these places have been around. The longer they've been around, I mean, how many families have lived there, so they go way back.
Right. Right. I know, like I said, when I was taking the scenic route to Indiana, I got Culpeper was one of the places that it took us.
Okay.
But it was cute. And I was like, oh, this is a nice little town. It's not like Urbana, because it is a little town too, but I'm sure that your population is a little bit higher than ours. Ours is like 458 people.
Yeah, I think John Stevens was telling me that. He said he's known you for a long time, and he was telling me I said, "Where's Urbana?" And we were at St. Albans, and we were having dinner, and I was talking to John, and he was like trying to explain to me where it was. And I don't my geography of that area, I don't know at all. I'll know it soon because my daughter's going to Old Dominion University, and she's leaving in a couple of weeks, and we're driving out there. So I'm going to get to know that area a lot better, obviously, in the coming years. But he was trying to explain to me where it was, and I had no idea. He told me it was a smaller town and that type of thing. But hey, small towns are great.
Yeah, it's a small port town, but I like, even though it wasn't very long that I was in Culpeper, I liked it, and I thought it was really cool. And I was like, I'm going to have to come back here to visit, because I think it's like a couple hours from us. I think I'd have to Google it and find out.
Yeah, we're 2 hours and 40 minutes from Old Dominion University without any traffic. So I think to Williamsburg we're exactly 2 hours. So
then you would be a little over an hour from me then, because I live way farther up than.
So you live closer to Richmond, I guess.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm an hour and 30 minutes from like VCU.
Okay.
So it's not that far. I mean, to get to Williamsburg is 2 hours. It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. I mean, like I said, that was a nice little place we got lost in, and I was like, oh my God, getting all paranoid. I remember that because of where I was at, and then we ended up going through the mountains of West Virginia. It was hard.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
What was supposed to be an 11-hour trip turned into an 18-hour trip because my dad had he took the what did he do? He did something with the GPS where he took off highways, interstates, and we took the whole scenic route to Indiana. It was a hot mess. And once I got lost in the last cornfield, I was like, this. I was so mad because it was 2:00 in the morning and I'm still driving and I got a kid in the back of the car all sick from the mountain. So it was a mess.
That's scary. Yeah, I
And then
drove.
on our way back from Indiana, I looked at my mom. I said, "Why are we hitting cornfields again?" And then
It's like,
that's
why-
when I was like, "Let me pull over and check this. Let me pull over and check the GPS." And then I had noticed where he had unchecked everything, and I was like, or
that's
checked
crazy.
it, or unchecked whatever it was that caused the scenic route. And I was like, "God damn!"
Yeah.
So mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're following GPS, I mean, sometimes it's taking, I mean, literally taking you through like across a stream or through a cornfield because
It took
maybe
me to a cornfield at a dead end street with cones in it, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And then my brother is sitting on a step saying, looking at me like this, and I'm like flipping him off as I'm pulling up because I'm like, "Really, dude?"
that's
He was
hilarious.
trying to walk us through everything we were going through, and then we ended up at some cornfield with train tracks and the train going back and forth. I was like, "Oh my god!" So
Oh, wow.
it was a nightmare.
That's
All
scary.
right, so John said it's a little from Urbana. It's a
Did you
little
hear
over
anything?
2 hours.
Okay. To Culpeper. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
wouldn't take me that long, John Stevens. I doubt it. Not with my foot. I think it might take me a little over an hour, and that's it.
Yeah, because I can tell you from I live in Brandy Station, but from here to Williamsburg, it took us 2 hours. 2 hours to get it. It took me originally I went through Fredericksburg and down. It took us a lot long. I think it took us like 2 hours and 45 minutes when I went to to Williamsburg the first time. But on the way home, we just jumped on 64 and then took 64. I think I went all the way to like 15 through Gordonsville. I think that's even the way I went, and it was 2 hours instead of getting on 95. So
How far is Gordonsville from you?
Gordonsville. My mom and my sister actually live there. It's for me, it's about 40 minutes south.
Okay, because I've been wanting to go there too.
Gordonsville's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
pretty. It's different than it's different than Culpeper. Culpeper's there's more people. It's busier, obviously, but Gordonsville's a beautiful little town. I mean, there's a great barbecue place there. I think it's called the Barbecue Exchange near the Gordonsville Exchange. It's a great barbecue.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a great place. Gordonsville's a great place to visit too. It doesn't have the history like Culpeper has, but it's still a quaint, cool little town.
Yeah. I got to make some road trips.
Yeah. And at one time I wanted to say, because you were talking about Culpeper, at one time, I don't know what year it was, it's probably before 2000, but it was one of the top 10 best voted America's small towns.
Oh, yeah.
So it did make the list, I think. And I think it was before 2000.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on the list because I remember looking for Urbana and I didn't see it on there.
Right.
I think Kilmarnock outbeat us, and I'm like, really?
Kilmarnock. Yeah.
Kilmarnock area.
Yeah, I think I've been other ones.
Ronnie Anderson said, because I got to back up a little bit on comments. He said, "What about residual? They are not always fast." Because remember, we was talking about how fast spirit was. I agree on the debunking things before calling it a spirit. So, what is your thoughts on something residual?
Residual. Yeah, I mean, I believe.
Fast.
No, I believe residuals definitely a thing because it's basically memory playing back. And I mean, when you go to a place, like say somebody got shot at a certain time at a certain place, and I believe that tape plays over and over. I mean, 100%. Yeah, I believe most of the paranormal that we see is residual, is a residual haunt paranormal, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, there's also intelligent, obviously, but residual, I think is most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, like a tape playing back. Like people see Civil War soldiers. You know what I mean? You see things from the past. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, this is where it gets kind of debatable, I guess, right? I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a spirit, or is it a memory or tape playing back? I mean, it's actually there. You're actually seeing it, but it's just somebody. It's not. It's just playing back what happened at that time. 100 years ago or 150 years ago. But I think noises and things like that, smells, noises, in places are definitely a part of residual, haunting. Absolutely.
See, I see a lot of shadow figures moving back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And are they residual shadow figures?
I don't know. In my opinion, I think shadow figures are probably more intelligent. I don't think that would necessarily be residual. I mean, unless you see something, a dark shadow figure walking through a wall, you know what I mean? Like that might be a residual where a door used to be and there's a wall there now and it's a shadow figure. But I mean, the type of shadow figures that we've experienced and seen are things that are moving fast, that are like, you know what I mean? That it looks like they're almost playing like a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I call it residual shadow figures because I always see them on the property
Mm-hmm.
in the same location. I'm not always seeing them in different locations, and I
But is it
call it shadow because I'm not seeing a uniform. I'm not seeing, how people might see a Civil War uniform or Civil War soldier. That's not what I'm
right?
seeing.
You're
I'm
seeing
seeing it's an actual shadow figure, and it's just moving back and forth, back and forth. I see them on my property, or when I go outside,
right.
I'll see them, and they're not, like I said, they're not like you could describe it as a soldier or anything like that. It's a shadow figure, dark, that just
Right.
goes back and forth.
I mean, I guess it could be elemental too. I guess being outside. I guess that's a possibility. I don't
I
know.
see
I mean,
it quite often, and
yeah. I mean, if it's a pattern, I mean, obviously, if there's a pattern to it, I mean, it could be residual, because I think that's the main thing with something that's residual, that there's a pattern.
yeah, I went to a gas station one time up the road here, and I walked in, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw a figure go back and forth from the back room to the cooler. Just
Cool.
was watching it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and but it didn't show itself. You know what I mean? It presented as a shadow of a female, but black,
Right.
like nothing, no clothes, just black. And then I
But you
found
can
out
you
there
could
was a
tell.
lady that was shot there.
Really?
The lady she was working there, and her husband came in for whatever reason and shot her there in the back room, which I really didn't know. I mean, this is right up the road. Shot her in the back room and shot himself too.
Oh wow.
So, and the staff at this particular station, they were like, stuff gets moved all the time. If we put something in the wrong place, they move it in the right place. But she was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, dang, she don't realize she's still doing her job. So that's what I was,
Right.
residual shadow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily call that a shadow figure. I mean, shadow figures to me are like, well, I mean, I guess everybody has a different definition, or like the definition that I think I'm used to as a shadow figure is like they kind of hide in the dark and you see them move around. But if it's something what you're seeing, like even though it looks like a shadow, but you can tell it's a female, and because I mean, some of the shadow figures that we've seen are like 4.5 feet tall. I mean, they're small.
Yeah.
A full size shadow figure, if it's especially if you're going to outline, you can tell if it's a female. I mean, to me, that would just be like you're seeing an apparition, right? I mean, a shadow figure is a shadow figure, and is a shadow
I
figure.
call them out when I see them. As soon
What's
as I
that?
see them, I just saw that. I just saw a
Right.
shadow figure. Just, you can't help it because it's a shadow to me. It's not.
Right.
It's just moving.
Yeah, well, I've seen some creepy shit in my house, and I mean, my house is relatively new, and I haven't told my kids, but I don't see it even on investigations. I mean, but we weren't even investigating. I came up to go to bed, and I opened up my door, and I saw a shadow of a small. It was like a small animal. Now I had a Siamese cat, that I have, when we first moved here, and he passed away in 2008. And it was the weirdest thing. And I'd never seen a shadow. I mean, I've been on, hundreds of investigations. I'd never seen like anything like that. It was at my house. And I told my wife, I woke my wife up, and she was like, don't say anything to the kids. That's why I'm talking kind of quiet, because I don't want them to hear me. Well, my son, my daughter's almost 18, so it doesn't matter, but she's not even here anyway. But I mean, it was freaky. And that was, I saw it was black, and the light was on the hallway. So it wasn't like it was in the dark. I mean, it was, I shut the door, and I forgot something downstairs, and I opened up our bedroom door, and there it was, went from the stairway to the bathroom, which is kind of diagonal path about 3.5 feet, 4 feet. So it was pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Oh, I got another really cool story to tell you real quick too. It happened this happened before we started doing paranormal. My oldest brother is a retired general in the army, and he's been to like Pakistan and Iraq, Afghanistan, fought in both wars and everything. And he's brought back tons of these rugs, of these prayer rugs. And he gave me this. I have tons of them downstairs, probably about a dozen or so. And one of them it was a nice little red one, had a little design on it, and we stuck it in our room. And my wife was like, "This would be a little like exercise mat," And so we laid it out on the floor, and it was there for a total of 10 days. And weird things started happening. And I'm a pretty skeptical guy. Okay, I do paranormal investigating. And this, like I said, this was before we started investigating.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife had some crazy dreams. And then I woke up, and this is like the 9th or 10th day. The rug was down. I started falling asleep. I woke up, and there was this black mist at the foot of my bed. And I woke up, and I went like this with my eyes, and I was like doing this, and I was like, "What in the hell?" And I was nudging my wife, and I was like, "Can you look at this?" And I could still see it when I'm nudging her. Then I turned to look at her, looked back, and it was gone. And I know for 100% that what I saw was real. And the weird thing is like, I've never seen anything like that since I've been investigating. And the very next day, and I thought because of the weird things that happened, and the only thing changed, I'm thinking, what's going on? Why I see this? So the rug, rolled it all up, put it back in the box, and we've been here for 17 years. And this happened probably about 8 or 9 years ago. So, rolled it back up, stuck it in the box. I still have the rug. It's in a box downstairs with the other prayer rugs, but I wish it had happened while I've been investigating, because I would have had the K2 meter out, the REM pod. I would have left it on the floor. I would have moved it to a different room. I would have gotten yelled at. My kids would have been freaking out. But you know what? Shit, I want to find out what the fuck's going on,
Yeah.
So, but I know it's bizarre. That's the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me, paranormal wise. And I wasn't even investigating.
Wow. Yeah. Attachments. John said the floor to the ceiling shadow figure I saw in the basement at the Brick Rancher moved fast and went right through them. Yeah.
Right.
The shadow figure at the cabin on 360 or the ranch or the Brick Rancher next door to it. That one is just so unpredictable anyway.
It is. I had a camera down there, and I had a little 4K like GoPro knockoff, like Chinese knockoff camera or whatever, and set up. I lost 2 hours of footage. I don't know what happened to it. It got deleted, but when I uploaded it to my computer, it was gone. So I watched. So I might have caught something down there. I think I had the camera set up for 4.5 hours, and so I had the other 2.5 hours that I could watch, and I didn't find anything. But the funny thing about Cabinet 360 is like my mother-in-law would not go in that house. And we were in the regular cabin part, and this is the weird thing, right? And she's kind of sensitive. I mean, she's had a few premonitions in her life, but she leads a lot of our investigations with the talking. I'm second, asking questions, but she's very, into asking questions. She does most of them. So, but when we investigated Cabinet 360, she did not ask one. She was so freaked out by being there that she never asked one question. I had to lead all of the EVP sessions. And she just wouldn't do it. I'm like, Jane, come on. She wouldn't do it. And it was the oddest thing. So Kim and I were the only ones. We went over to the rancher house and investigated over there. But, I still have a lot of video footage I have to go over, but I didn't feel it. And Kim said she felt a little weird. My mother-in-law was freaked the hell out. My wife was just like, no, I'm just not doing it. So, and we went in the woods. They wouldn't go in the woods. I went in the woods, but we didn't have a whole lot of time left at that point. But that place is freaking. I was supposed to go back with some friends, Southern Fauquier Paranormal. We're really good friends. They're only 50 minutes up the road. Great people.
Real nice.
Yeah, we kind of got them into the paranormal because they come to the graffiti house a lot. Awesome people. But they went to the Cabinet 360 a couple of weeks ago, back in the beginning of July, I guess a month ago now. And I was going to go with them, and we couldn't. I had prior engagements, and they got canceled. And then it was raining all day, and my mother-in-law got COVID like the week before. And, so it was kind of so I didn't go. I want to go. So hopefully they don't rent the rancher out or whatever, and we can go back soon.
Yeah, they got another event, I think, scheduled for September 24th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm going to be at ODU that weekend because it's a thing for college kids for my daughter. So because we were supposed to do a thing at Avenel down in Bedford County, but my daughter's got the thing at ODU, so we can't do that.
Gotcha.
So,
Ronnie said he had a demon help him with his camera at the Ohio State Reformatory Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm so jealous because all those guys went, and like John and Sullivan, and they all went and everything. Gosh, and Middletown Paranormal, jealous. And then John Sullivan, Fredericksburg Paranormal, and he's in New York now. So I don't know. I guess they're doing this weekend. They're doing so I guess some other sanatorium or something. I'm not sure. I have to look and see what it was, but he's posting all kinds of pictures. He's at a casino and stuff. I'm like, dude, you're lucky. I wish I could do that. I got to work.
Yeah, there's John Sullivan, Speak of the Devil, and Ashley Patrick McGowan. Yeah. What's up,
John Sullivan? Yeah, cool. Tell him I said, hey. So I can't respond to anything. I guess I can respond later, but.
And let's see, Ashley. Hey, how you doing? I know you've been busy. Yeah, you got to come over because I got your stuff still sitting here, dowsing rods and all.
Oh, dowsing rods. I love. So, can I say anything about dowsing rods real quick?
Sure. So we got a couple minutes.
Okay. Yeah. We didn't really start. I'm not going to ramble on to anything really long.
You're good.
But, we've had great success with those, and there's something. And of course, I video every session we do with them. I've had some things I just can't explain. At the Fauquier County Jail, where we do a lot of we're doing the tours and stuff and investigated. I think we've done more tours than actually investigated there. There's a little girl that supposedly, died there, and there's some history on it and everything. So it's back in this room, and then her name is etched into the window there. And we've done a couple different dowsing rod sessions in there, and the most bizarre thing is just like, and it's not me doing it. It's my mother-in-law, because I guess she has a stronger connection with the girl there or whatever. But she asks, we'll go through like 4 or 5 minutes. She'll ask, can you give me a hug? And the dowsing rods just do this. They go back and they wrap around her. The dowsing rods go, I can't really see my hands, but they go this way. And it's on cue every single time. And I can't explain that. And I got it on video, and I'm like, holy crap. And it's like, she'll be talking, and every time we go there, it's the same thing. And it's not like, I don't know, she'll keep asking it, like you want to get an answer. She'll ask questions and then just ask that one thing. And then the dowsing rods will go back and like give her a hug. She says, give me a hug. And the dowsing rods go back and give me a hug. And so it's great success with those things. They're awesome.
Yeah. I love dowsing rods.
Yeah.
I've got several pairs of them. They all have different jobs.
Yeah.
They really do. Because I bought one set from David that didn't want to work for me doing the tours, but it'll work for me when I'm doing Reiki work, when I do energy work. So those stay downstairs. And then my copper ones, I take on the tour because those work for me. But it's just weird how they're like, no, we don't feel like going to all these haunted places. We're going to stay down and do Reiki and read auras for you. And that is their specific job. It's strange how those work. I know people would laugh at that, but I really had tested them out many different times, and they just don't want, they got their jobs. Let me check Blog Talk real quick, because I hate cutting into Ryan's show. All right. So I'm going to hang up. I got to hang up on the Blog Talk side.
Okay.
Because I don't want to just ditch you and disconnect you off of StreamYard. So hold on 1 second and let me try to do that.
Yeah, no problem.
But I appreciate everybody that tuned into Blog Talk Radio. We appreciate it. But I'm going to hang up so I don't cut into Ryan's show. So let me do that. Y'all, we'll see you next Tuesday with John Stevens. Hang that up. It's so complicated to do all this and make sure I get it right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because you don't want to hang up on the wrong thing,
I have done that. I hung up on. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Can you hear me?
David, can you hear me still? Okay. You put your. All right, hold on. He put his.
I was muted.
Okay, I got you. All right. So I was going to say I've done that before. I accidentally hung up on the show on Blog Talk and ended Ryan's episode.
Oh no.
Not once, not twice, but 3 weeks in a row.
Really?
I couldn't get it right. To save my life, I could not get that right because when you hang up, it'll say end episode or continue, and I kept hitting end episode. This is when I first like started doing vibe time with Geri, and it was so embarrassing because Ryan would have to call the people back and reschedule with them, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens. I mean, if you're new at it, you're new at it. I mean, things happen.
You're trying to multitask, you know, between the blog talk, StreamYard, Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do all that by yourself, plus the comments and making sure that you acknowledge people. Hey, Gene Wells in the comments, it's like I needed a co-host. When they put me in jail, I had to have my co-host.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I wish I brought my laptop up and had Facebook. I didn't even think about that, to have it up there, because this is the first time I've done this on my own. We've done this, you know, we've done this with the group, you know, with John and Len, you know, from RBA and Brian's show. We did it, but I've never done it on my own. But even I used my phone each time, and it seemed to work okay. I should have thought I should have had it pulled up.
You know, it's fine. We got the comments. We have Kimberly Ashbury here. We had Gene Wells on. Shayla and her husband comes on, and there's several people. John Sullivan, John Stevens.
Yeah, all great people. Yeah.
Yeah, we get. So I think we pretty much caught up on all our comments, and I do appreciate you coming on our show and telling us about, Culpeper Paranormal and the different, what you do out there. And it's always nice to have different paranormal teams on the show. But like I said, I got you because you and I joke about the pareidolia part of it, and I was like, well, let me just see if he'll come on the show, because
I loved it. I was very flattered you invited me.
And maybe David Flowers and I one day will make it out to Culpeper, because that would be kind of interesting.
I'd love
to investigate out there.
Yeah, no, you guys, I mean, let me know when you guys have time, or, and I will make time for you guys. Just let me know. I know I'll be heading out your way a lot with my daughter going to college out there now. So, I definitely want to set up an investigation with Culpeper Paranormal to come out to. I know Southern Fauquier Paranormal was out at the Manor House just recently. And we want to go out there definitely, probably in the winter time when it starts, because I know there's a lot of windows in the Manor House, because I've been there before, and when we want to make sure, that there's no sunlight coming in and things like that. But we had a great time when John Sullivan and I and my wife, we went there and hung out with you, Dave. It was great.
Yeah, it's great having all that there.
It's pretty active. I mean, even just last night.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I decided that I was going to stick a mini body camera to the fire extinguisher facing out where on the second floor where the landing is, the steps that go down. And so I'm reviewing it just tonight. And I'm looking and I'm thinking, because Dave, he dimmed the chandelier some. That's what we were talking about before you came on the air. He dimmed the chandelier some, but we got several flickers with that. But I'm sitting over here, I'm looking to the left side of the camera or the body cam, and I'm thinking there's an orb there. Well, he put those cat balls in the round table room.
Yeah.
So when we did the tour last night, we didn't get any cat ball activity. And David's like, well, I guess they don't want to play with these tonight, and I made a comment. It doesn't mean that they're not here. Well, before he came upstairs with the group of tourists that we had yesterday, they were playing with them cat balls for about a good 3 minutes.
Oh, nice.
So I have it, and they're not malfunctioning. Those are tested before we put them out. They were randomly putting them on, periodically. But there was that one period where it was almost like they were trying to drain the energy out of them. And I told him, I was like, well, more than likely they used all their energy before you got there, and they couldn't light them up when you needed them for the tour.
Right. Well, you can't. Well, you can't replace the bat when those batteries die in those cat balls. They're done, right? You have to find new stuff. Those things are great. I love them. I mean, and that's the thing. I don't know. They'll go off. I mean, not very often, which is good because we don't want equipment to go off often, obviously.
Right.
But those cat balls are great, and I mean, and they're easy to test. And say it takes a little bit to get them, going.
Yeah, and I normally stomp my foot, or I'll hit the top wherever we're putting it out on the table or whatever to make sure that when a guest comes in there, when they walk in, they're not going to set them off. But there was nobody upstairs at the time this happened. Nobody. Like all of us were downstairs.
Right.
So I'm just like,
that's cool.
Anxious to get him the footage so that he can download that, and because he does all the video shortening for our stuff, because I don't know how to do that.
Right.
So I'm really anxious to get all that.
John Stevens says, ask Paul about the great EVPs he's gotten with the DR60.
Which ones? I got a lot of them. The DR60, here, I'll show you. I got right back here. I got one of the ones downstairs. I got a couple of them. I got 3 actually. I got one downstairs. But these things are great. I mean, obviously it's a voice activated recorder. I mean, David knows because he's, I don't think you have one, Dave, but when John Sullivan was there, we used ours and his and stuff. But I mean, the amazing thing about them, they're voice activated. I mean, it's old technology. They're 1998, basically first generation, IC, record, software. So they're very, you get a lot of white noise in them. But even being voice activated, I mean, I can set them in a dead quiet room. And, I can talk and then they stop recording, and then I can talk, they'll start recording. It's very consistent, but then sometimes in between when you talk, you'll get these interruptions. I mean, it could be something in the voice activation circuit of the recorder. I mean, that's a possibility, but then you'll get voices, you will get sentences, you will get very audible, clear voices in these things. As clear as my voice would be on the recorder, not, obviously smartphones are going to have clear audio, and some of the Zoom recorders are clear as well. But these things get great, in my opinion, great EVPs, and they're voice activated. So, you have a 5-minute EVP session that's going to be 1 minute and 30 seconds. You can zip through it really quick and, see if you got something. But yeah, I mean, I've gotten some really cool stuff on there. Some very, very cool, EVPs, different locations. At St. Albans, we did a lot. I used all 3 recorders. I think I got 25 sessions times 3 because it's 3 recorders. So there's like 75 things I got to listen to. I uploaded into my laptop. Haven't got a chance to listen to all of them. Some of them we listen to live. John Sullivan has one of those recorders, and we listen to his as well. But I haven't listened to all of them. But yeah, I got some really good EVPs on there. I think 90% of what we've captured that we believe is human, interaction or responses, are from these recorders. And on the culpeperparanormal.com website, I've uploaded probably about 11 videos. And some of them you can see where I've used the DR60 as our primary recorder for getting EVPs, and I've overlapped them with the video camera, and so you can hear. Some of them are audible and clear, and some of them aren't.
Right.
Yeah. But it is a very nice recorder, and the sad thing is the TV shows have made it very popular, and so if you go on eBay, these things, I mean, they're selling for like upwards of like, well, they want $3,000 for them. I mean, if you bid on,
I'm look at one right now, $3,100.
Yeah, but you know what? If they do but Dave, if they do a live auction though, I've seen you can do. I mean, I sell a lot of stuff on eBay, stuff for my business and stuff. But you can do the the auctions that have ended, and you can see what they've sold for, and a lot of them even with the last 30 days, because I was looking, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, from like June to July, some of them were selling for about $1,200 to $1,500 at the end of an auction. So people were bidding, they're bidding, and it sucks to bid on auction because like they're up there for 7 days and you're bidding and you're like, am I going to win it? Am I not going to win it? And it's frustrating. I like to buy it now.
Me too. Ronnie wanted to know, Shayla said she wants to know if you have looked at the bowling alley video yet.
I have not, and I promised her. I told her we went to Myrtle Beach. We were gone all that. I'm tan right now, that's why. But yeah, went to Myrtle Beach all last week, and I put it on a USB stick with me to watch out while I was there, and I didn't. So I know she can hear me. Shayla, I'm sorry. I'm gonna look at that tomorrow. I promise. I will look at that tomorrow because he's gonna
look at it tomorrow. He's promised that.
Yeah,
he can't break the promise, because if he does break the promise, then the universe is going to make him pay out karmic debt for doing that.
Yes, and
in another life.
Yes, I promise I'll look at it. It was kind of odd. I mean, real quick about that story. It was the end of the night. It was about 3. It was almost 4 o'clock in the morning at St. Albans, and I went downstairs to grab my camera. I didn't know John and Shayla were down there, and the lights were off with a flashlight. And John Sullivan and Shayla are sitting there looking. They're like, "Shh, quiet, shh, quiet." I'm like, "What are y'all doing?" They're like, "That ball's moving. It's like it was like a glowing, it was a balloon, and it was a glowing balloon at the end of the ball." They're like, that ball's moving. I'm like, and I'm trying to focus my eyes because it's pitch black. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, yeah, it does kind of look like it's moving. And we all sat there for about almost 5 minutes. They were down there long. They were there longer, but about 5 minutes. And we were looking, and I'm like, hey, it looks like it's moving, but everything, it's dark. It's hard to, you can't have nothing the contrast. You have nothing to compare it to. But yeah, I haven't looked at any of the St. Albans video because when we got back, I was with work, leading up the week before I had to went to the beach and stuff. So I've been so busy. So yeah, Shayla, I probably will get to that.
Yeah. Are you talking about those party light balloons that you blow up and it lights up?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Yeah, they were kind of glow. Yeah, they actually glowed in the dark. So.
Yeah, I got it. I have a couple of those left. I need to get some more of those because those are really nice for investigations too.
Yeah, they are.
It lasts a while. Kids love them.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, we spent that bowling alley is kind of freaky. I mean, we spent a couple of EVP sessions there. And then there's that boiler room. Have you guys been to St. Albans, Dave? I mean, have you guys been there?
Not yet.
No.
It's worth it. I mean, it's a really, really cool place. And you need like 3 investigations. I mean, they give you 8 hours, and 8 hours is not enough. I mean, there's mazes, that place. I mean, they give you walkie-talkies because they say you could get lost. And they say you need to keep this walkie-talkie because if you get lost, you need to radio us because you will not find your way out. I'm like, great. But yeah, it was. I mean, what an experience. I mean, it's a really, really cool.
That's on the bucket list too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the biggest place we've done. And I mean, it's I know John Sullivan, Ronnie, and they went to
Nice,
Ohio.
Ronnie.
Yeah, they went to Ohio State Reformatory this past weekend, and I know that place is really big too. I don't know if it's bigger than St. Albans, but that's a really big place as well. I've never been there. I'd love to go because that's where Shawshank Redemption was filmed. So that would be cool.
I was taking down some notes. Mini beach balls with glow stick insert holes work good too. So we'll have to try that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw face the boiler room when I first entered it, and it was over in the corner. That's what John Stevens said.
Okay.
St. Albans is a maze for sure. Yeah.
It is. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I'm sure that John Stevens, when he comes on the air next week, he'll be talking to us about St. Albans and his experience.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was definitely fun. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie's saying Ohio State is 3 times the size of St. Albans.
Really? Wow. And St. Albans is like 120,000 square feet. I think it's over 100,000. So somewhere.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would love to go to, but that's definitely a drive. I mean, that's a weekend paranormal trip. And I think because they investigated on a Sunday night, if I'm correct. I mean, I guess Ronnie will say, but I think they got there on Saturday, I think, or Friday night, or they drove down Friday. I don't remember because I watched I follow them on Facebook. I'm friends with Ronnie and Shayla and personally on Facebook as well. So I think they they got there on Friday, but I think the investigation was actually Sunday night. But that's probably cheaper because they probably charge an arm and a leg to do investigations on the weekend if you can get an appointment. Because it's like we tried booking. I think it's Moundsville in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And and it was like January 12th, and that's my birthday, January 12th, and you had to get on at 10 a.m. and it was like first come first serve, and it's like, and so I got on at 10 a.m. to first come first serve, and it was already booked. And I'm like, come on, guys, it's my birthday. Can't you hook me up? But no, but one day we'll get into Moundsville. But I've never done a big penitentiary.
It pisses me off. They get all these companies going and they just book up blocks of things.
Exactly
for the publics.
Yeah,
when I did Moundsville a few years back, I did do it on a Wednesday.
Right. And I think that's what we have to do. And I was looking at like a Saturday, you know what I mean? Because like, trying to get my wife to go paranormal investigating during the week. She said, "Tell me to fuck off." She's like, "I'm not missing work and going to investigate. I'll miss 2 days of work." She got all pissed off. I'm self-employed. My mother-in-law doesn't work, but Kim works for the school system, so she has to get up early too. But I mean, during the summer, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the thing, Dave. Exactly. Going to Wednesday. Look, I'm not opposed to going to someplace like that on a Sunday night or Wednesday night. You know what I mean? As long as we can investigate there,
Yeah. The Creason is a huge complex, definitely a 2-day trip. So yeah, we'll have to bring people on to let them talk about that. Yeah. But again, I really appreciate you coming on and going over with us just a little bit. And, I'll be tagging you in those orb videos that I keep getting and making that. I always tag him and I just leave a smiley face because I know that he's going to say what it really is.
Well, and the thing, you tag me on one on your Facebook page. You're like, just play along, and you remember you did that you did something on your Facebook page, and I'm friends with some of the people that you're friends with on Facebook, and not all of them. And you wanted me to comment. I'm like, they're all going to think I'm an asshole. I'm like, what am I going to say? It's like, it's pareidolia. That's not a face. And because half the people thought it was, remember, Geri? I mean, half the people on your page thought it was you posted it like, oh, that's a face. Oh, great catch. And they're like, comment, and you're like, comment and say it's pareidolia. It's like, they're all going to like hate me.
I remember that because it was the picture of the manor house windows.
Oh, was it? I don't remember. Yeah, it was a window. Yeah.
It was a picture of one of the manor house windows that I put up there, and people were like, oh, look at all the faces in there. And I was like, no one's shaking my head. I was like, let me just tag him real quick.
Right. But it was,
messages. I think we got over 100 comments on that picture.
Yeah, you did. I mean, but like that was the experiment, right? And
it was, and what was funny is that it lasted how many days? About 3 good days or 4 days worth of comments.
Yeah, and like more than half the people believed it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, oh man. I'm like, I felt bad. At the same time, I was like, great. Say something, they're going to think, oh, this guy's an asshole or whatever.
Yeah.
Gene Wells says it's a demon.
Yeah. Gene Wells says it's a demon. Yeah, I got you. I got Kim with that one too. I remember that. And Ronnie said, great show, Bedford Paranormal. Thanks you. Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, Bedford. Yeah.
Bedford too.
Yeah, Bedford. Yeah, I was actually talking to Ronnie earlier on Facebook. Great guy. Like I know he does events at St. Albans, and hopefully we can get down and do one of those events next year. Definitely.
Yeah. No, Dennis wasn't there. So anyway, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. It's fun.
I'm gonna end my live show.
No, that's fine. I could do this all night.
Come back on one day.
Yeah. Well, definitely have me back.
Are you? So yes, and then maybe you can like squeeze Culpeper Paranormal into your house, like, and then I can see everybody.
I could, or it could just be me, Kim, and Amy or whatever. Get like at least 3 of us or something like that.
3 y'all there. I mean, there's no, like I said, I get a little sketchy because it messes up.
It does. It's hard. I mean, it's hard doing groups. I understand. Even when we did it with Ryan, and it's hard getting us all in there and we're all talking over each other. It's frustrating. I mean, I like doing it solo. You know what I mean? But I have a group, as well, obviously. But it is fun doing it solo because I'm doing all the talking. I like to talk.
Yeah, I know. I do too. It's bad.
So
yes, Culpeper Paranormal Investigators would love to do it. So we'll have to get you back on.
Please do, Geri. Definitely. Well, it was a pleasure. Definitely, finally meeting you and talking to you. Online, and of course, Dave. It's always a pleasure. And I wanted to tell Dave because I think I told Dave this before, but we do all these events and tours and stuff. And I'm always pushing Dave's book. Because Dave, your book is the best thing your book is the best thing for people that are just starting out. Or people that are just kind of that have been doing it for a little bit, but it is the best tool. I mean, your book covers everything. It's amazing, and I push it to everybody and all these things we do. So hopefully you're selling a lot of copies.
I hope I get some more. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'll do absolutely anytime.
He's been doing good. I mean, the book has been selling pretty good too at the Manor House this year. At least I think it has been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and his dowsing rods that he makes, those sell out very quickly. So I keep telling people he's going to be famous one day. You better get the book.
Yeah, it's a great book. It
Better
really is.
Better do a part 2.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, you could do, yeah. But I guess you could do part 2. But what are you going to talk about in the part 2? Because you covered a lot of stuff in that book, Dave.
It took me 5 years to write part 1.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Never know. Never know. Yeah. It's still a good book. Welcome to the World of Paranormal Investigations Part 2.
Yep. Yeah, maybe you can do UFOs or something. Or
yeah, there's always something to talk about in the paranormal field. So, and there's always new equipment to be introduced.
Yes, there is. Yeah, there's a lot of. Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those. It's funny because John Sullivan and I are like, he's always buying new stuff. I see that I'm trying to buy new stuff. It's like we're competing against each other to buy new stuff.
Yeah.
But but there's I like it. I mean, it's not saying everything's going to work or like, but it's fun just as long as it's not costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's fun just to experiment and mess around and see what works and what doesn't work. Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, all righty. Well,
cool.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, you guys. And I will talk to you guys on Facebook and like usual. We'll get in touch and we'll get in touch and and try to schedule something to come to the Manor House as well.
Great.
So cool.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
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 All right. I appreciate everybody coming on Facebook Live. Like I said, next week we have John Stevens coming on, and John Stevens is going to be talking about the latest paranormal events. I appreciate everybody that's come on the show tonight. We got John Stevens, but who do we have? And then on the 23rd, of course, we have Holly Mullins. So that's going to be a 2-hour show right there. It's going to be from 8 until 10. So that'll be on the 23rd. And then on the 30th, we have our very own Tracy Ann. And she's a paranormal investigator amongst other things too. So we got some pretty good lineup for August. So anyway, you guys, good night. I appreciate you tuning in to the channels and supporting Vibe Time with Geri with my little co-host here, David Flowers. So y'all have a great night.